Joining me now, three of the country's top political analysts and CNN contributors, syndicated columnist Diana West, New York Daily News columnist Errol Louis. Errol, also host of WWRL's morning show here in New York City, and Democratic strategist Hank Sheinkopf. Thank you all for being here. Let's start, Hank, with the Russian invasion of Georgia. Where has Senator Barack Obama been?
Where has everyone been, Lou? Barack Obama has nothing new to say about it and is not talking certainly about United States interest or protecting them, which is really what's at risk. Condoleezza Rice went to Georgia this past week. Why? And where was she before? In other words, no one's any place. They have nothing new to say. And John McCain, well, where is he, too?
Well, John McCain, at least according to Mikhail Saakashvili, has been talking with him several times a day throughout this entire episode. I think a lot of people, including myself, I will say, were surprised that he had that level of engagement. He has been in front of the cameras, and Barack Obama has been playing golf and taking certainly a well-deserved vacation, but with circumstances changing on a world stage, one would have expected a different political reaction from his campaign.
Well, the facts are, Lou, don't make trouble if you don't have to. Don't say something that might appear to be even defensive of United States foreign policy or defense policy, because the young people that brought you to the game might not like it. And that's really what's going on here.
Errol, do you agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't jump into that quagmire for any reason. I mean, he didn't create the mess. He didn't join either side of the mess. And let's keep in mind again that John McCain is not a wholly owned subsidiary of the Georgian government, but his top policy advisor was paid by the Georgian government a handsome sum of money over many years to lobby on behalf of that faction in this conflict. And so why get involved? It looks like a Republican mess to me. If I were a Democrat, I'd stay out.
Let's call it a Republican mess. Let's call it whatever you want. Why is he running for president? Because every mess he's got to clean up won't have been his, whether it be the economy, whether it be Iraq, whether it be Afghanistan, whether it be the war on terror.
Well, but I mean, clearly, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. If he starts running to every rock slide and forest fire and foreign policy fiasco and try to act as president before, 10 days before his own...
You mean like he did on his trip to Europe and the Middle East?
Precisely, for which he was criticized somewhat justly.
Diana West.
I'm listening to this, and gentlemen, I'm amazed. This is not just a forest fire or a rock slide. This is a global crisis involving all kinds of various spheres of influence, power struggles, Europe, the Middle East, oil supplies, American prestige, all of these things. We want to hear what Barack Obama would have to say about it. And I think for a man so concerned with photographs, the photographs of him on a golf course are not leaving exactly the best indelible impression. John McCain, like it or not, he is engaged in this situation. I think that we've all said all along that with foreign policy crises in a broad brush way, they do redound to John McCain's benefit in terms of his experience and life biography.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what these polls will show us, if anything, come Monday and Tuesday of next week. Let's turn to Jerome Corsi's new book, Obama Nation, which I think has to get marks for certainly an intriguing title, but also this pure, absolutely driven book that is a political attack book is debuting #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Diana, what do you make of that?
I think people are hungry to know something about Barack Obama. I frankly have not read the book yet. I've only read the commentary about the book. I've seen it attacked on the front page of the New York Times, the front page of the Washington Post, but I haven't really gotten a where's the beef kind of moment in terms of what is factually incorrect. So I'm very eager to see it, but I think this has a lot to do with people not having been sufficiently introduced to Barack Obama.
You think that's the case, Hank?
I think the problem for Barack Obama is that people are learning too much about him.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And they know an awful lot about him, and the more they know, the more those numbers tend to collapse. The more they learn about John McCain, well, they expect less from John McCain. But the savior is supposed to save, not get savaged or give people a reason to be upset. That's the problem here, Lou. They're learning a lot. It's not helping.
Not helping, and the campaign waited a number of days to respond, and when they did with a 40-page rebuttal, if you will, or refutation of everything that they responded to in the book, this doesn't have the feeling of a substantive engagement on the part of the campaign on an outright attack. Jerome Corsi, I talked with him, interviewed him. The man makes no secret of the fact that he just does not like Barack Obama and doesn't want to be president, period.
So what's wrong with that? He's entitled to his opinion.
Oh, I didn't say there's a thing wrong with it.
The campaign's problem is this lingers for 24 to 48 hours of the president's news cycle. It lingers too long. They didn't get rid of it fast enough. And by the way, reporters, with due respect, are not going to sit around going through 40-page documents. Take apart each factoid one by one so you get your side of the story out. You're not going to kill this. This is going to go on.
Do you agree with that?
It may have. I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, the factual errors, though, jump off the page. Even a small amount of effort, I think, yields some pretty big whoppers right up front. And it's not just the politically shaded ones. He's just got some things just factually wrong right in his introduction. I mean, it's really kind of startling, actually, that the editors let this kind of stuff go through. But you know, and it becomes in turn hard to have substantive engagement when there's not that much substance, where it's just kind of vitriol, you know. So the Obama campaign is going to have to figure out a way to get around it. I think the first step is, in fact, to make clear that there's not a lot of substance there.
Well, the first thing it seems to me they should do is be listening to Democratic strategist Hank Sheinkopf. Errol, when the man says the more they learn, the weaker his numbers in polling. That should be saying something they should be responding to. Rather more than the book itself, don't you agree?
Well, I assume that they've got their own positive story to tell, whether it's through a book or more ads or whatever channel they're planning to go through. They need to push that button and make it happen.
Do you think there's a sequel to The Audacity of Hope, like more audacity, more hope?
He doesn't have to write the book, but clearly of the 20-odd books that are out about him, and you know, indicating there is a lot of interest in this man, surely not all of them are attack books of the Corsi variety.
Well, no, but none is selling as well, and none of the mini books out about John McCain are selling at all, which is, to me, intriguing. Do you have an explanation for that, Diana?
Well, I think that just one more thing about the Corsi book, I think that part of it is the public saw a love affair with Barack Obama that has stretched on for years now. And I think that when an attack book like this comes out, there is great interest because people feel they haven't gotten the story. On John McCain, I mean, people are very familiar with him. I'm not sure that the interest is there because of that.
We're going to be back with our panel in just a moment. Stay with us. Next, we're going to find out about what happened to that love affair and why the national media is so upset that Barack Obama isn't doing better in the polls. Stay with us.
The Democratic Convention, CNN, starting August 25th.
We're back with our panel, Diana West, Errol Louis, Hank Sheinkopf. Hank, let me turn to you right now. The Clintons got what they wanted. They're getting a roll call at the Democratic National Convention. Could it get any better for them?
Couldn't get any better for them. Barack Obama blinked at the last moment, but they did make a move about Charles Rangel, the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, when somebody tried to get him on the agenda.
Well, they made a move, but wasn't that a dumb move?
Well, if you want to reform the tax code, you don't beat up the guy or embarrass the guy that has the ability to do it very easily.
You know, aside from everything else, and I, you know, lots of people have lots of opinions about Charlie Rangel, but I'll give you mine. Mine is, this man's a soldier, quite literally, in that, you know, he served in Korea. He is a terrific fellow, personally. Is he perfect? By no means, but who is? And for the Democrats to take him on because the Obama campaign to take him on because he supported Hillary Clinton and called Barack Obama, some of his statements, stupid. I mean, that's offensive in itself, isn't it?
Well, you know, the streets of New York are littered with the bleached bones of people who took Charlie Rangel lightly, and he has lived to tell about it. He's been there for upwards of 30 years. None of his opponents have been. So, yeah, that maybe wasn't the smartest thing. On the other hand, Obama, and I think with Clinton, with Rangel, with other big power brokers, this is one of the key tests that he has not yet passed, which is this additional role that you have as President of the United States, which is the leader of your party. He has not unified and shown the leadership that he hasn't punished where he needed to, he hasn't excluded where he needed to, and embraced where he needed to, and mollified where he needed to.
Let's assume his campaign is here. My guess is they would be saying, well, that's what we're doing with Charlie Rangel. That's why we have been tough in communicating with Hillary Clinton supporters.
I'd have done it just the opposite. I'd have been tougher on the Clintons and maybe a little easier on one of the congressional barons like Charlie Rangel.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is they're going to have to work with Charlie Rangel. They're not going to have to work with Hillary Clinton. Diana, your thoughts?
It's baffling. I think the whole thing is so fascinating because what you have to do is ask yourself, if Bill and Hillary Clinton, what would they do if they really wanted to see Barack Obama elected president? Would they make the Democratic Convention into a Clinton extravaganza? I don't think so. So I think this whole thing continues simmering along, and who knows?
Well, one of my favorite columnists, Diana, said, You know, the fact is, in terms of these delegates, the Hillary Clinton supporters are looking at the fact that Hillary Clinton is only 13 points behind Barack Obama now in the roll call. They're probably going to be thinking about how do they get those 13 points. By the way, the columnist was our friend Errol Louis here. So I want to thank you, Errol, for that, and I want to thank you, Diana West, for joining us. And Hank Sheinkopf, as always, thank you.